Okay, so the vestibular system is quite interesting. It's intimately linked to the auditory system. In fact, this structure here is called the vestibulocochlear apparatus. And this is the cochlear component here. This is the snail-like sort of spiral structure that we discussed, right? That has all the inner hair cells that allow for, direct detection of different frequencies of sound, and also the outer hair cells that help to adjust the acoustic environment, within that cochlea. But it's linked, actually, and there's fluid that is also shared in these structures. This is the vestibular portion of the vestibulocochlear apparatus. And they're going to be, there's something called the saccule, the utricle. These collectively are called the otolith organs, because that means lithic is stone and oto is ear. These are ear stones, right? They're going to play a very important role in your ability to detect linear acceleration and also gravity. And then there are these really remarkable semicircular canals that are oriented in different planes. And they also are the site of specific hair cells that are going to move. We're going to see as we move, and fluid then moves within these selectively depending on the direction of movement. So it turns out the otolith organs here, the saccule and the utricle, are critically important for our detection of linear acceleration and also gravity, up and down kinds of motions, while the semicircular canals are really important for angular acceleration, detection of angular acceleration, movement sort of around. Aristotle didn't discuss the vestibular system. This is like a sixth sense that wasn't in his initial list, because it really is something, that's so essential for balance, spatial orientation, movement, including eye movements, very important for eye tracking, orienting to things. As you, for example, put your finger up in front of you, right, and you go back and forth like this, you can maintain fixation on the finger because you're, integrating vestibular information from those semicircular canals with motor output, to keep the eyes fixed on the object in front of you. But maybe it's not in Aristotle's list because you don't really, you're not really aware of it until it goes wrong. And then you have, significant consequences like vertigo. I did want to show you really briefly, where this vestibular cochlear apparatus is located, in the skull, right? This is actually a black bear skull from Oregon that we had the opportunity to, dissect. And this is, underneath it, you can sort of see on the ventral surface, here's the foramen magnum, where the spinal cord, the big hole where the spinal cord comes out. But there are these little bumps that are, they're called bulla. They're like bubbles is what the Latin is for bubble. And there's one on either side. And, they're right down at the end of the auditory canal. In there will be the tympanic membrane and then the middle ear. And this is where the cochlea sits, right? So the cochlea is going to sit right in that bubble. And then these, otolith organs, the utricle and saccule, and the semicircular canals are going to be working their way up this way into the bone. Everything is encased in bone, so as the fluid moves, it doesn't, dissipate. It really is sending information about, specific movements. So the vestibular system is a very important system that